All right, I will call the meeting to order. We have a resolution number 100-25. Be it resolved that the meeting be convened at 7 p.m. with Mayor Ray Muirhead in the chair. Moved by
Mike.
Seconded by
Bill.
All those in favor. Opposed, that is carried. We have the roll call. Muirhead present, Kalinowicz present, Ray present, Sudak present, Van Dam present, and Bogatis should be present. He's coming.
I haven't heard things though.
Here. They're absent right now, but we'll wait. Number 3, we have adoption of the agenda. We have resolution number 101-25. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of May 13th, 2025 be adopted as circulated. Moved by Sam, seconded by
Mike.
Are there any additions or deletions? Hearing, seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. Excuse me, we have the adoption of minutes. We have resolution number 102-25. Be it resolved that the minutes for the regular meeting of April 8th and the joint committee meeting of April 28th be adopted as circulated. Moved by
Bill.
Debbie, seconded by Bill. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. We are at the delegation stage and we have Cheryl Christian in our presence. So welcome, Cheryl. And the floor is yours.
Sorry, do we have to receive the delegation or is that?
That's after.
Okay, sounds.
Anyway, Cheryl, go ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And I want to thank you again for trusting me with your strategic planning process. So we've had a couple of conferences interrupt us and kind of slow us down a little bit. But I like to start off with a kickoff session to get us started before I reach out and interview all of you and speak to you one-on-one. And so for me, if I'm able to share my screen. I'm able to share that. Yep. And you're able to see that okay?
Yes.
Wonderful. Great. Well, I'm wanting to start that off, and on the title screen, I'm starting it off with a theme about a kickoff, and not a sprint, but a bit of a marathon run on strategic planning. So I thought this picture was excellent in terms of signifying representing the kickoff and starting the run, but also your location between City of Winnipeg and Brandon. So if you look in the background, you can see, the tall towers of City of Winnipeg and also Brandon, and really starting off how you're ideally strategically placed. And so I'm excited to be working with you guys. Of course, you accepted my proposal, and at GovFox, we're really excited to be working with you. I actually now have over 30 years of community leadership, but we'll leave it at 20 and not age myself. Bachelor's, master's degree, PhD coursework from the University of Manitoba. I am a researcher. I was an instructor at the University of Manitoba, and I'm really passionate about data-driven decision-making for councils and helping you look at the data and how that helps you make informed decisions. Of course, I was on council for a number of years, councillor and mayor 2014 to 2022. Really proud of that. And the work that we did in West St. Paul really driven by strategic planning. So I know it works from practice. I know it helps staff. I know it helps councils. And we're in good company with a lot of municipalities, including yourself, that's springboarding from a strategic plan that you guys already have in place. So it's exciting to be working with you. And now, of course, I'm founder and principal of GovFox Municipal Consulting. I'm proud to say that we're endorsed and approved by the province of Manitoba and on their list of official companies to use for support services. So quite proud of that. So as I mentioned, it is a kickoff tonight. I like to hit the ground running and really set the framework for all of us about the expectations for the project and everybody's role in the project to make sure that when you've brought me in, that it is a success. So my inspiration for the PowerPoint presentation tonight is Olympics. It's, gold medal coming out of this. What's it look like for us to have success? And so for me, that's, huge success of our Canadian athletes. And so that's kind of the inspiration behind today. So to have our kickoff session, really why it's important to, really be excited about this. As leaders, you set the tone in your community for new projects that are coming out. we're asking your community members to participate in this process. It's a community strategic plan. I commend you on looking at proposals that involve the community. Many councils at the beginning of term, will sit in the back room in their council chambers and say, what's our priorities? And for you guys to be involving the community, really kicking it off from your end to celebrate this and share with the community and get them excited. To have a shared understanding moving forward, what does this look like? What are the expectations? Project purpose, organization, and timeline. What are we rolling out? What does the general timeline look like? And then your role in the process to ensure that it's successful. So a quote that I love from Patrick Lencioni, 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, if anyone has read that. If you can get all the people in an organization rowing in the same direction, you can dominate any industry, any market against any competition. And of course, in public sector, we're not in industry, but the idea that there's things that you want to accomplish as council that you ran with goals and ideas and things to accomplish, and that your community wants to see that too. And if you're all working on a strat plan, working off the same plan, you can achieve great success. So rowing in the same direction is the ultimate goal coming out of this. The importance of strategic plan, of course, you have a plan and you brought me in. A shared vision, direction, and goals, right? Everybody having kind of a same larger vision to kind of stop the hamster wheel talk that happens at council tables where, is this important or not? How does it align with our strategic plan? And then we can discuss details, right? Address issues and challenges, reflecting on how does this fit within our plan? Improve the lives of your residents, of course. Intentional decision-making with community involvement. One of the things that I come out of strategic plan in our session together is that question from council, how does this align with our vision? How does this align with our mission? Direct valuable resources and time and money where it's needed most. Municipalities, all 137 of them across Manitoba, are facing challenges of how we make use of our resources, our staff, and our funding. And strategic plan helps you make those decisions and to shape the future for the town of Carberry. So I'm just going to go over the goals and background, the project scope, timeline, roles and responsibilities, and next steps. And then if there's any questions. So the background and goals coming out of this is to really have a comprehensive strategic plan. You have a strategic plan in place, and this is going to elevate you to the next level. I'm proud to say that our plans are not sit-on-the-shelf plans. They are living documents, and the municipalities that we have worked with are implementing those strategies. So I'm excited to be working with you guys. Clear priorities, vision, direction, and goals to really be inclusive, council, administration, and staff. Best practices, the plans that are successful are the ones that have ownership from your staff. And if your staff is involved in the process and I'm interviewing them and talking with them, it's much more likely to be successful. Extensive
Cheryl,
community engagement. Oh, yep.
the slides aren't changing on our end.
Okay.
We just still have your screen with the first slide on it.
Okay. Thanks for that. And it's changing at my end. I don't know why it's not changing on yours. I'm going to go stop share and I'll try and share again. Wonder if there's you can hear me okay?
Yeah. Everything else is working good.
Okay. Can you see that okay now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so which one did we get stuck on?
First one. It was stuck on the first slide, but we've been kind of following what you've been saying, but not the slides.
Thanks for stopping me. Good. Okay, I'll catch you up. Is it moving now at least?
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. You guys are so polite. I get 10 slides in and you're like, thank you.
I think you're running out of time.
Love it. Thank you. All right. Extensive community involvement, having the survey, having the focus group, lots of different ways for people to participate. And then the report and operational plan as well, intentional, transparent decision-making process. So those are some of the goals. The scope of it, as I mentioned, when you guys looked at the proposal, StatsCan data, sharing that with you, what's the demographics of your population look like? That's always surprising with council, even though you know your community so well, there's always some information there that's great. Your community strategic plan, of course, the shared vision, council decision-making, input reflected. And then once it's finished, the operational plan. The planning process, conducting that initial community profile information with StatsCan data. I have spoken and met virtually with your CAO a couple of times, and there'll be 13 interviews conducted, council, staff members identified, really excited about that. The community survey process, once I speak with you, those questions are developed, tailor-made to what I've heard from you and questions to put out to the community. The community engagement begins, right? We have a focus group, and so we're going to set a date for that in June, and that will run at the same time that the survey is available. And then in the focus group, I hand out the survey paper copies for your community members to fill out if they haven't online. I look at all of the information and bring that back to council. What did I hear from you? What did I hear from the staff? What did your community share with me? And that helps you make decisions and finalize what are your key priorities based on what we heard from the community. A report to you and available online for all your residents and to share, really a marketing tool as well for you. And then the operational plan with your management team. So this is our tentative timeline, and I'll give you a heads up that your CAO will be looking for you to finalize some timelines. Interviews, I'm going to be reaching out to you soon, and we'll have our interviews the last week of May. The surveys are planned to go out June, July for a month to give people time to fill out the online or paper surveys. Focus group in June as well. And then our facilitated planning session, you will have to come together and pick a date that works for all of you, which sometimes is the hardest part, coordinating schedules in July or August, late July, August, to bring all that information to you. We'll have our full one-day session. And I usually ask councils to have that session in a different location than your council chambers. You make your normal decisions in council chambers, and this gets you out of the normal business and really in a creative frame of mind to kind of be out of your element if possible. Final report August, and then the operational plan August, September. This breaks it down a little bit more. In speaking with your CAO, we're looking at June 13th to July 14th to have the survey online. That allows me time to interview all of you, form the questions, and get that out there. Also note that there's an opportunity for us to print the survey and put them in with the tax bill, which is fantastic timing. So your CAO and I are going to try and coordinate that timing as well, that residents will have a paper copy. That way they're getting the message through Facebook, through you, and paper copies delivered right to them for every single opportunity to participate. Middle of June, we'll organize the focus group, and I do a PowerPoint presentation for that focus group to share that with residents and really inform them about why strategic planning is important, what it means to them, and bring the feedback back to you guys. So our council session in person, July or August, and then the report August. So for you as council members, what is your roles and responsibilities in this process besides being cheerleaders for it and getting your community excited to participate? Prepare for the interviews. I'm going to be sending you a one-page sheet of preparation. Don't be intimidated by it. It's just a guideline. They're very unstructured, but just to get you thinking, you know, what are my priorities? What are the things I think we're doing really great? What do I hear compliments from the community? So I'm going to be sending you a one-page sheet to be looking over, an interview prep guide, and before you meet with me, so that you kind of get some notes and get your head around that. To be encouraging community participation out there. You know, you all get phone calls from certain people. Let them know, right? Send it out there, anyone you speak to. The survey and focus group, sharing that information. And you'll see in bold, do not attend the focus group. So when I start the focus group, I let residents in communities know that I have asked council members not to attend the focus group, that they would love to be here because we love to be involved and hear the community input, but that a strategic planning session allows them to talk about the future. When council members come, the session turns into a request for service. And let me talk to you about the stop sign that's out at the corner of whatever. So I really let them know that you'd love to be there, but we're future focused and you're able to freely speak without council present at a focus group of what do you see for the future of the town of Carberry? So that's another reason we have this kickoff meeting. So later you don't go, what is Cheryl talking about? But it really lets them focus on what's the future of the community as opposed to, you know, sticking in the issues of now. And everybody loves to get the ear of their councillor and mayor. So kind of takes away that. To be, you know, creative and practical. And this is really exciting. And before the end of this term, before election, council that hopefully you're all on, you really have a roadmap of where are we going in the future. You vision, confirm your mission, strategic development, and the operational goals. So we have a great one-day session together to get all this information and really hear what the community had to say. What does the success look like coming out of strategic planning? Council, admin, staff going in the same direction. All got a plan, that there's buy-in from the community, buy-in staff, council, the level of community involvement. Even now there's emergency, you'll be looking this you have, and then a professional document coming out of this to share. You are competing with 136 other municipalities, and how do you put your best foot forward? How do you
Sure, can I just stop you for a
prospective
minute?
businesses that you have? Yeah,
You're breaking up
Absolutely.
here the last couple of sentences. Is there, you're connected and everything good on your end?
I think so. It's showing that I have. It's showing I
Okay.
have strong internet. We might just be a bit delayed. Sorry about that.
That's no problem. It just happened the last few sentences, so we read between the lines.
Okay. If it's not the PowerPoint, it's me. And I'm almost done. That's our process. The one-day session, the data analysis. Yeah. And so that's our process here at GovFox. And again, we're excited to be working with you. And yeah, if there's any questions, I just like to, as you see, have a kickoff so we're all on the same page and address any issues from the get-go.
I just have a quick couple of questions. So you'll want to interview each of us around the council table separately, like individually?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, do you have will you do that? Do you have our email, or are you going to do it live, or how do you contact us?
Your CAO is sharing all of your email addresses.
Yeah.
And I'm
All right,
going to
good.
send an email out to all of you as a group, and I'm going to attach the interview guide. And then I'm going to encourage you one-on-one to reach out to me and say, these are the days I'm available, Cheryl, and we'll have a virtual private one-on-one. And we'll go through kind of the interview guide, but really roughly, right? What is it that you
Okay.
love? Why did you run? Where do you see priorities going? And that'll be one-on-one. Yeah.
Okay, I think that was the only question I had. I thought I had two, but I think that's it. Anybody else have anything? Like, Debbie?
No, I think it's, I'm excited. I think it sounds like a really good start to focus on, and yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Sam, do you have anything?
No, I think I'm okay.
Okay, Bill?
No, I think I'm fine.
Brady? Everything seems, I think you've covered all the bases.
Good.
So we appreciate this, and we look forward to this. And I think our community looks forward to this, and they'll be, without us being in attendance, I'm sure there'll be lots of input from our community. And I think it'll be positive.
And you'll still hear about the stop signs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
But we look forward to meeting with you and interviewing with you and the whole process. So thank you for doing this. And if there's anything you need from us in the meantime, just let us know.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Council. And watch for my emails. My email will be coming shortly, so watch that it doesn't go to your junk mail, GovFox, and I'll be sending out that notice to you shortly, and we'll be setting up interviews. I look forward to meeting with each of you.
Okay, very good.
Okay, very good.
Once
Have a
again,
wonderful-
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks, Cheryl.
All right. I'm going to read this resolution. We have resolution number 103-25. Be it resolved, the council will receive the delegation. Moved by.
Mike.
Seconded by.
Sam.
All those in favor? Those are carried. We have a finance and accounts. Do you want us to wait for you, Mike, or just? Okay, with finance and accounts, we have the ACAO report. I'm assuming everybody has read that. I just wanted to say, on behalf of myself, and I'm sure council agrees, we went through all of the capital expenditures, and all of the ones mostly came in under budget. The ones that weren't under budget was explained. It wasn't in the 24. But kudos to everybody involved. I think that's really good. Very
Yeah.
well done job. So.
Yeah.
It's the
great.
first time I've ever seen anything like that, and that's excellent. Job well
So
done.
I will read this resolution. We have resolution number 104-25, be it resolved, the council accept this ACAO report as presented, moved by,
Bill,
seconded by.
Debbie.
Before I call the question, was there any comments or questions on Teresa's report? Anything else? Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, all right. All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. We have the financial statements. We have resolution number 105-25, be it resolved that the financial statement for April 2025 be received by council, moved by,
Mike.
seconded by.
Sam.
Pretty straightforward. Bill, you went through a bunch of stuff. You
Bill,
find any?
the checks and accounts, but the question I had about the financial reports was, the year's taxes are normally based on what's collected after June. There are people paying throughout the year. Where does that money show up on any of the statements? Like, we have expected amount of tax money that's gonna come in,
Yeah.
but there are people paying throughout the year.
Like through mortgage payments and that sort of stuff?
Well, so much a month or,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I see these amounts on the credit union statements. But I'd like to see where I'm not sure where they
I'll
show.
have to get back, my brain isn't there, but so. I'll
Okay.
have to get-
I'll leave it at
Yeah.
that, but that's a question that came up and I was thinking of things today.
Anybody else have any questions on the financial statement? Straightforward. Okay, I'll read them. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. We have, resolution number 106-25, be it resolved that the accounts check number 15928 to check number 16014 totaling $227,020.82. Electronic payments totaling $123,516.29. And direct withdrawals of $1,148.50 be approved for payment. Moved by,
Bill,
seconded by.
Yeah.
Straightforward. Any questions? All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. We have some bylaws. So we have resolution number 107-25, be it resolved that bylaw 10/2025, being a bylaw to set rates of taxation for 2025 hereby be read a second time. Moved by,
Mike.
seconded by.
Sam.
All in favor? Opposed, that is carried.
I'll, just suggest that we table resolution 108. We still have not heard back from the municipal board yet from
Okay.
the start of January, so we should hold off on the third reading until we hear back from them. So
Is everybody good with tabling
Yep.
this until
Yep.
next time? Okay. Do we have to read anything to table or we're just good?
just the table.
So we'll table this, third reading until a later date. We have resolution 109-25, be it resolved that bylaws 08/2025 being a bylaw to establish a reserve for community safety officer expenses hereby be read a third time and signed by the mayor and CAO, sealed and become law. Moved by
Sam.
Sam, seconded by
Bill,
Bill. So this
Is
is
it
what we,
108, sorry now?
what's that?
No,
this will
108.
be one way.
No,
Okay.
change.
Okay,
This is what we discussed last meeting, Sam, where you read the two motions and then the third one's the next meeting. So this is where we make the decision and it's always a recorded vote, the last one. So it's pretty straightforward. Just setting up a reserve for community safety officer. We plan on going forward with that, possibly with other towns and municipalities. So if you have any questions on any of that, or now's the time? Everybody understands? It's good?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna call for the question. For R. Muirhead, for W. Kalinowicz,
four,
D. Ray,
4.
Mike Sudak,
4.
Samantha Van Dam.
4.
That is carried. Thank you. We have resolution number 110-25, be it resolved that bylaw 09/2025 being a bylaw to establish a reserve for joint entity expenses hereby be read a third time and signed by the mayor and CAO, sealed and become law. Moved by Mike, seconded by
Debbie.
Debbie. This is the final reading for this. Does everybody understand what this is about? We talked about this at a joint meeting, just to establish a joint fund between the two of us for the operation of the jointly held facilities. Pretty good with that? Okay. I will call the question. R. Muirhead for, W. Kalinowicz for, D. Ray,
4.
Mike Sudak,
Or
and Sam Van Dam.
4.
That is carried. Thank you. We have unfinished business. We have 1 and 5 intersection, which is on the agenda every meeting, just to update. And do we want to talk about that thing that's going to happen at the intersection or?
Yeah, yeah, sure, yeah.
So I've had people contact me, and I'm sure we've talked to people that are concerned about the R-cut. Whether it's being too complicated, whether it's increasing time, whether it's just there are other better options. I haven't really commented on it myself. I've explained what we know about the R-cut, and that's about it. There are some people out there that didn't attend the community meeting and some that did. But apparently the R-cut is not as popular as what they want it to be. And they are organizing a peaceful gathering at the intersection coming up is it 22nd?
I believe so.
I believe it's.
Yeah. So just as an FYI, it has been out there, I believe, on social media, but if anybody wants to attend, or if you hear anything about it, that's what it's about. I don't think it's out there stomping their feet, pounding their fists. They just want to get the word out that they are not in favor of the R-cut as proposed. Some people I've spoken to and I've explained it, and I've actually sent YouTube videos of an R-cut. I don't know if they've necessarily changed their mind, but at least they have a better understanding of how the traffic flow works and lanes and the times and what do you call it, critical incident spots.
Critical impact points.
Yeah, impact points, that's what I'm looking at. So I just thought I'd bring that up. That's something that's coming. So anybody else have anything on that or no? Okay. Do you have anything on that, Grady, or no? Okay. So that's it. We'll go on to policing and community safety officer. Ongoing.
Yeah, so next step is gonna be to organize a meeting with the province and the 2 other municipalities that are interested in going further on it. I've been working back and forth trying to settle some dates and just haven't landed anything yet. But that'll be the next step, so coming up hopefully in the next 3 weeks or so.
which two?
Not putting that in the record yet.
I have some comments. I've talked to Grady about it earlier this week about that, but I'll wait until there's another one that's coming up. I'll wait until it comes up or maybe around the table or talk about it. So.
Yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, just like a little one, like when I was up north there, their CSOs were helping with like emergencies, like disaster stuff. So I was patrolling like the neighborhoods that were, vacant
Mm.
or things like that. Like they were doing that as well too. And same as like delivering like, water or whatever to whatever. So like it was more than just the policing sort of side. It was more of like security side as well too. So like, again, like whatever. So it was just kind of like, I just noticed.
Well, I mean, Andy, good example of that is a couple of years ago with fire down south, and we were looking at the possibility of town evacuation. That would come in handy.
Or like, like, and whether it's for wherever, but you think, if there's a portion of somewhere that's, people were told to leave, they were patrolling, making sure people weren't looting or things like this, or whatever. So I'm just saying it was kind of
Yeah,
nice to see, and they're like I said, up in the positive training in Brandon, and then I got to see them kind of working outside of their little, well, in their scope, but like doing something else also.
that's good for thought, anyway.
Just thought I'd mention that.
Good. June district resolutions. Anybody got any ideas for anything? Anybody? We've got, how long do we got before, well, I guess we have till the June districts before we can come up with some?
We have to put them forward to AMM by June 1st.
Okay, I guess that's something we should think about. So each and every one of us, if you have any idea. I know this is new to you, Sam, but it's resolutions that go to the AMM and then the AMM is our voice to the provincial legislature. So it's stuff like, I don't know, speed limits, language and different interpretations, other stuff too. So that's just something if you think about it. And the June district is coming up at Brookdale. So we all, or whoever can attend usually goes and we talk about it. And from there, I guess the resolution goes to the annual AMM meeting in November. So I guess if we all can put our thinking caps on and if we think of something, I mean, there's always community safety officer. One of the things I was thinking is, if we're to hire community safety officers, how much money would the government kick in to help pay for it? Because we pay our RCMP right now. And if we are on the hook for, let's just use that 100 and whatever thousand. I mean, if we can get a couple of communities involved where we can have maybe even more than one or whatever, it's still gonna be an expense we're gonna have to. And that's just another example of government downloading onto us.
It's like that MFR thing, you ask them, like, what's your operating grant, or if we get, nope, you're not getting anything, but you
can't
pay for
get
something you're paying for anyway.
Yeah, so just food for thought for that and whatever else you can come up with. So we've got till the end of this month, I guess, so we'll think about something. We've got parking, Third Avenue car wash.
Yeah, so this was discussed in the last meeting and you guys were gonna think about some options for there and see what you came up with and whether or not you're wanting to make any changes to this area over here. Since been an issue brought up on the other side of Main Street, where there's some parking that's interfering with delivery trucks and, the business owner is requesting that something be done. He doesn't know what the best option is. We talked about things, but something that we need to consider.
So just to recap from last council meeting, James Cracknell wants to know if he can use 2 spots just at the corner here as a staging area for waiting to get into the car wash. We talked about that. There's also been, like Grady said, we have a business owner just across the street over there who has the truck that backs in. There are vehicles in the way. I don't know what the answer is. I know it's town public property. We have allowed parking specifically like for the Legion Bonds bill. That's been a temporary thing. That's only like a weekend.
Yeah, there's a loading zone permanently in front of the Legion too.
Yeah, there's loading going there.
Yeah.
I don't know, what's everybody's thoughts on it?
Like, where are they in the way over here? Like, cause it backs into a back lane, doesn't it?
It's Myers meets and
Yeah.
once in a while there'll be a semi come in and they back up on an angle across
The loading dock is kind
to the
of,
back door.
Yeah,
So when they do that, if there are people happen to be parked on the boulevard, just
Like,
on that side,
on
it
the
might,
west
it's hard to rank.
West of the lane on the north side of the street.
But I'll be devil's advocate here though, right? The truck blocks the road, so you can't drive down there. Like, I get he's getting delivery, right? But if I was someone that, well, I can't park there, but why is the truck 53-foot trailer get to block the road?
Well, these are some of the decisions I think that we have to make because this is getting more and more prevalent. We talked about the one across the street from East End and the parking there, which you've seen. We talked
Yes.
about the one you just talked about and then the James Cracknell one. What do we do? Do we go to, or can we go down that road and specify for businesses or can't we? I don't know what the answer is. I don't know.
Well, you can designate certain types of parking. I wouldn't say that we will want business parking only, but you can like reserve for, you put time limits on things and that kind of stuff is one way to do it. You can do no parking here at a corner, which means like, or no standing, like there's options for that, like we've done in front of the school, right? There's a section that's no standing, there's a section that's no parking, and then you have to do that. So there's a few different ways to do that, but.
Maybe in the interest of, business, maybe we should look at doing something like this. I don't know.
Well, there's
But
the,
like that one over by the car wash, right? Like how long does it take for you to normally wash your car in there? 5-10 minutes?
10 minutes.
Right,
yeah.
so we have like, you know, just like the school, you know. Time limit just on a couple spots, so like really, if you needed to park there and then run into this store here. You'd go to the store and be back in your car in less than 10 minutes anyway, so it's not really saying you can't. Park there, but if you're gonna wait, you know, you can't park there all day while you're at work. You know what I'm saying? So you're not really telling people they can't park there and use Main Street. But you can't park there all day.
Is there an accessible garage at the house behind the 150 park?
Yeah, there's a garage area.
Yeah. I was thinking if you allowed a vehicle in the very last spot along here and one, I guess, but there's garage, you can't do it at the park facing one another so that they could be in line for the car wash.
Like, technically, it's a legal park.
I don't know.
I don't know, I kind of lean towards making some kind of an allowance for business. It's tough. And I mean, when you have viable, good businesses that contribute to Main Street, I think you should help them out. I don't think it's too much to ask. We've got lots of parking around, but for somebody like Myers, when they got a semi coming in and they have to wrangle around, I just, and then with, James here, like he's put a lot of money and continues to put a lot of money into the community. And I think if we can make allowances, they're not asking to, you know, for parking for 50 vehicles. It's just a matter of a couple of spots here and there. We've made allowances, like say, for the Legion and still with the loading zone. I don't know, that's my thoughts. What's anybody else think?
I'm fine with the, sorry, Bill, no, sorry, buddy.
What used to happen is directly across from the car wash, you could back in facing the car wash.
But that was before we were full on Main Street, and like, we were the ones that parked there.
Yeah.
We don't have parking, and we don't wanna park in front of our office, right?
But didn't we say that we
Yeah,
could
we
park
can,
on the
yeah.
other side, like we
Yeah.
kind of trade?
Yeah, that gets full too, though,
Oh,
so,
okay.
and if he goes to put the vacuums or something in, then that's gonna get,
Okay.
right, he's said that, yeah, we can use those spots, but. The parking ends up being a premium, and it's not an issue, we'll figure out, or we can park further down, or whatever, right, we can make it work.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, I mean, I think we all have to do our part to work together. I know where I live, there's people parked in front of my house and all the time. That's just the way it is. The hospital's full.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? Go over and kick them out and say, shut the hospital down? I don't want people that, you know, go ahead.
Yeah, like, I don't, like, again, too, we don't have enforcement right now, but, you know, if a place like, a store that needs a delivery in a certain spot, I don't mind designating something a loading zone,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, so even if someone says, well, I have to unload, like, I have to bring something into my house or whatever, and I can't, well, no, you could still unload there. It's a loading zone. You just can't park there for, you know, 2 days. Or same as over here, if it only takes 5-10 minutes to use the car wash.
Yeah.
You know, you make a max limit just for those spots, because really, like I said, like if you're getting out of your car to run to Callan's and pick up something, and then you like, there's no parking, right? You're gonna go back to you're gonna grab your food, pay for it, and go back to your car, right? Or if you're waiting for the car wash, you're just gonna sit and wait for the car wash, and really if someone comes by, you're like, oh, I'm just waiting for the car wash, right? Like, so, like, if you think about it, like, we're not taking away from anybody,
No.
but we're kind of just limiting someone to be there.
Staff, they're over here
Oh.
in front, cause staff here park there,
Yeah, but they can park there too, right?
Yeah.
If there's
as
spots.
long as that,
No, I'm just saying if there's spots,
Yeah.
right? I'm just trying to, if we're talking about, you know, making
Yeah.
everybody happy really, or doing something, like that's all we can really do unless we just say, these are designated for this guy on your street, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. So doing a loading zone or doing a time limit is probably your best option in that, or you revamp the parking, which no one's gonna Cause look how much I screwed the thing before, you know what I mean? So,
So where on the other side of Main Street too, there's the secondhand store. Same thing, parking issue there.
Yeah. So if we're gonna do this,
Three of these now,
yeah,
we gotta deal with.
we're gonna do this for business. I think this is the way we're leaning for business right now.
Yeah, for Main Street is,
Yeah.
it's
If
business.
we're gonna look at the possibility of doing this, I mean, we are, I don't wanna say opening a can of worms, but I think we will have people coming saying, well, I want in too. So I guess we'd have to have policy or language regarding, who parks where and how much. Is that something we can work on?
Yeah, and it's something we talked about last year.
Yeah.
About switching Main Street to a 2 hour, whatever the case is, right? And that we can definitely do that, and I don't know if you guys wanna go as far as a parking study, or if it's just a survey of the businesses, or how you wanna approach that, right? Cause we did talk about doing a survey last year of businesses, I did receive some feedback from certain ones, but I mean, like, we need to, it's a lot different downtown than it has been in the last 30 years now,
Yeah.
right? So we need to look at doing something.
So-
It's full all the time.
So is that something, to add to your plate, but is that something we can leave with you and
Yeah.
you can come back to us on?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Mike.
yeah, I know some things too, is like the parking was, like where I grew up, there were some places where, well, you had to pay, right? We get to pay for parking, the meters, but there are some places where it was, either paid parking or temporary parking up to a certain amount until unless you had a permit because you're a resident. So if you had an apartment like above a store or something, like that apartment got like one spot or something like that. Or I can't remember how exactly, and that's when you seen the bylaw, people go with the chalk, and they chop the tires to see if they
Yeah,
tires, and if the vehicle moved, it didn't have a permit, you didn't get a ticket, but if it had a permit, then it was, you can park there overnight or whatever, you didn't get a ticket, right? I'm not just letting you know, like a small, how small Main Street, just how like, Bloor Street and stuff was found like towards the permits. Cause there's nowhere to park, like in behind your place, right? So the house would have a driveway, but have a basement apartment, that one permit for one car. But again, it's policing, right? We don't really. But
but I mean, if it leads to situations down the road, then maybe what you just said is right. Maybe we need to have another parking study because we're not the same town we used to be, kind of thing,
Yeah, I
so.
did come across one, just cleaning some stuff up there last week, and there was a parking study from the 90s, early 90s, to talk, switching the angle parking to parallel and stuff like
Yeah.
that, so. It's possible to do that, they kind of watch the traffic and who's using it for what and where they're going, and see what could be a good possibility for that, so.
Okay, so we can leave that in your capable hands. Is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you. We have the joint procurement policy. I will read this resolution. Welcome, Prester. Good you can make it.
There's just been a lot of stuff going on. I've been really busy lately.
No problem. No, that's all right. We have resolution number 111-25. Be it resolved that council adopt a joint procurement policy as presented. Moved by,
Debbie.
seconded by. Like. So we went over this at the joint meeting. You didn't get this, Sam. I don't know if you read the joint procurement policy.
I think so.
We have procurement policies. We have one from the town, we have one from the RM, and they weren't 100% the same. So it's how we acquire stuff, equipment, stuff kind of thing. So we wanted to get on the same page. So we read the joint procurement policy at the last joint meeting, and it was accepted by everybody. So this is just, it's coming back to separate councils, and we pass it on our end. I'm assuming they passed it yesterday.
Sure.
Okay.
So this is just kind of organizing it all? Kind of
Just finalizing and formalizing it all.
Okay.
So when we all want to go out and buy a truck, a loader, a lawnmower, whichever, for any joint services like the rink and that, where the town and the RM involved, we have a standardized joint procurement policy that we can do it.
It establishes the way things are, planned for and bought and paid for.
Yeah. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And the spending limits and so on.
So, anybody else have any questions on that? No, okay, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. We have appointment of fire chief.
I'm just gonna abstain for the next couple ones.
Okay.
So, not conflicts.
There. We have, resolution number 112-25, be it resolved that the council appoint Clyde McCollum as fire chief of the Carberry North Cypress Langford Fire Department. Moved by Sam, seconded by Debbie.
Yep.
Just to let everybody know, Mike is abstaining due to perceived possible conflict. So that's pretty straightforward, no questions. All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. And the next one is the appointment of designated officers. We have resolution number 113-25 be it resolved that council appoint the following members of the Carberry North Cypress Langford Fire Department as designated officers for the town of Carberry. Chief Clyde McCollum, Deputy Chief Grady Stevenson, Captain Bart Witherspoon, Captain Mike Sudak, Captain Dale Carrot, Inspector Steve Denton. Moved by
Bill,
Debbie, seconded by Bill. Again, Mike is abstaining from this due to perceived conflicts. So any questions on this? Straightforward. All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. Welcome aboard, everyone, and congratulations.
Mhm.
All right, we have general business. We have the culvert installation policy.
So this is something that sort of keeps coming up and I haven't been able to find anything that's in writing, which we're getting there, but there's still these things that every once in a while pop up. About having culverts installed. Traditionally, it's been that the homeowner pays for the culvert and then we do the work and put the following out and sort of for that. Bit of a unique situation came up. House got built, person that built it, sold it. Your homeowner comes in, there was never a culvert put in where there should have been. So I just said, we'll take care of it because it's not really their issue and it should have been done beforehand, it just didn't get caught. So that's brought about the need of having a policy. So that's something that I'll come up on for the next meeting. To be a draft on there for you guys to approve. That just lays it all out, so we know exactly what we're doing with everything, and I don't know if you guys still want to do it. How we used to where the owner bought the culvert and we did the rest, or if you want it to be solely on the homeowners, or how you want to do that. So if you want to think about it, give me your feedback sometime before the next meeting, and I'll get something drafted.
My biggest thing on this was just to make sure we have standardized sizes. There have been some that put in, and it seems like some of the contractors put in that when it should be that kind of thing. I
Yeah,
had phone calls and, I don't know, tell them.
yeah, for the most part, it's tough to standardize because it's typically drainage plans drawn by an engineer, right? So
Okay.
they'll put in the required culvert diameters when they do the design.
Yeah.
I mean, ditches in Carberry aren't overly necessary, I don't think, anyway. Especially when they're 6 feet deep and then we raise the culverts and we slope the ditches again. It's not like we have in a couple places. But having the designs come through the proper channels now, they never used to hit Public Works, they never used to hit the fire department. Now we'll make sure that everybody gets a look at it, that it makes sense for what we're doing here, so.
What about homes that are currently built? And the homeowner just wants a culvert? Do they have to come and actually,
Yeah, like,
what's the rules there?
that's exactly.
That's
what we're
it.
doing.
They go by the culvert?
That's what we're doing right now. It's like in this policy, it will state, if you just want one which doesn't really happen. Cause like. You either need it or you don't. You don't just want it because you feel like putting it under. So that would be what we'll put like in that conversation.
Sounds good.
can I have, sorry,
Go ahead.
these culverts are typically on town property though, aren't they?
Yeah,
So.
yeah, if they're private property, then it has nothing to do with us.
But typically, a normal culvert would be on town property.
So I was just wondering if it was like a house that's been there for years, family moves in, and that person wants an additional culvert or.
Like to
Like,
add
do
on
they
to
not-
there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, do they not have to have town involvement somehow in that, as long as it's,
I know what you're talking. Yes, usually,
okay,
I don't know.
I'll just leave it like that.
I saw that yesterday.
I agree, you said, like, yeah, without diving too much, cause you're gonna look into it, but like.
Yeah.
Hurling your foot for a one car drive, you know what I mean? Like Debbie, and then when you're asking is if they wanted a 2-car driveway, then it's gonna be.
Yeah,
extended,
like,
right? Like,
yeah.
my house, if I wanted to make my driveway wider, I'd have to ask Public Works to come in and extend my culvert, put a clamp on it, extend it, cut the culvert, buy the, you know, and then
Yeah.
put the gravel in, just so I could fit
Like, if
it.
it's on private property and they're doing that, that's fine, but if it's gonna involve the town down the road and cleaning it and, you know, I was just wondering, but that'll cover, the policy will cover
Yeah,
it. So
Cause
we'll
I've done
just
that
wait.
in my driveway, I got them to extend it a little bit, you know.
That's good. Thank you.
The other flip side of that coin too is if some people want to bypass and not get a culvert when they should,
Yeah.
after the, you know, we gotta make sure the drainage. is
Yeah.
good.
Right.
And then if,
Yeah.
like if an engineer does everything and sizes it, do we have the right to contest it? I mean, you two specifically were public works supervisors and you know darn well where the problem spots are and where they could be. Can you come back and say, whoa, no, I know what happens every spring. We need a bigger culvert than that. Would that be in this policy or the right to or
Yeah,
no?
we can put it in there, yeah.
Does that make sense or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, is everybody
Yeah,
good?
then typically when someone calls and asks for one, we'll look at the drawings if we have them, say, okay, yeah, you need to order X diameter, 400 millimeter,
Yeah.
you need 16 meters, to cover with that.
Yeah.
And then it gets ordered by upwards.
Okay. Yeah, that's it on that. Nobody else has any questions? Okay, we'll go to youth counselor tour / meeting.
So June, what did I tell you?
I figured out. I told you that I was free on it, so
Yeah, let me just look here.
I remember that much.
June 5th in the afternoon, June 5th. So Portage, also has a youth counselor. There's a couple other municipalities that have them as well, but they're just not looking out for them right now. But, Portage has organized a tour of the legislature and a meeting with the premier on June 5th at 1:00. So Krister has agreed to go. I think Ray and I will, Mayor Myriad and I will attend, with him. And we'll go for the afternoon, on June 5th to do that.
So that would be like leaving at 10 to be at 5.
Yeah, we'd be leaving like 10:30.
Okay.
It's exciting.
Are we going to see any other ministers or Canada? We see any while we're in there?
Everybody's walking their office together.
You can do that.
Mhm.
Sounds good. All right, good.
Is that totally confirmed now or?
They're supposed to send out more details as we get closer, but that date and time will be. We'll get, unless something goes really sideways or something.
Okay, that's good for that. We'll move on to Westman Regional Library Citizen Rep. We have a resolution here. We have resolution number 114-25. Be it resolved that council appoint Jocelyn Barnstable as the town of Carberry Citizen Rep on the Western Manitoba Regional Library Board. Moved by,
Wait,
seconded by Bill. FYI, Jocelyn Barnstable is a teacher out at Riverbend Colonies. No, me and Grady had to go read a book in front of her.
Oh, there you go.
Anyways, all those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. Welcome, Jocelyn. And we have D, unsightly properties.
Yeah, I have an email from a concerned citizen about 2 properties in town that that person felt that they hadn't updated them or made them more modernized and was asking what the town can do to help that along.
I think If you can hold off on that for the next little couple of sections here, I want to bring that whole scenario up in
Yep.
the around the table thing.
Sure.
About that, if that's okay.
That is fine.
Don't lose that thought though. We have Willie Sipple parental leave. We have a resolution. Number 115-25, be it resolved that council approve the parental leave for Willie Sipple with a return no later than January 8th, 2026. Moved by
Sam.
Sam, seconded by
Debbie.
Jimmy. Pretty straightforward. All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. We have a higher term position. Excuse me, we have resolution number 116-25. Be it resolved that council hire Austin Poitras as a term employee for the parental leave beginning May 12th and ending no later than January 6th, 2026. Moved by
Bill,
Bill, seconded by
Debbie.
Sam.
Sam.
All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. We have the 351 West speed limit request. This has been on several times before, right?
This has been on here for 5 years.
Yeah.
Couple of years ago, put in a formal request for it, followed up a couple of weeks ago just to see where it's at. Apparently it's all there and it's in the queue, but that's the response that I got, so.
It's just, going backwards when we want to these June districts, it has been brought up at the AMM convention about speed limit reductions and why we can't do some ourselves. Maybe that should be a good one to bring up again.
well,
Maybe
yeah,
piggyback on some other ones, other communities.
Yeah.
Because this is ridiculous. That last term, that guy that came out from highways, he actually at the end of it all wanted to increase the speed, right beside the Artsier Park and residential's. Oh yeah, that was ridiculous.
Why?
Well, that's exactly why. So we as the town, we should be able to know
Yeah.
through proper studies and the stuff we do. We know what needs to be reduced and so on and so forth. Same as the one going out past Ian's, so, but that, yeah, we could use that as a June district probably, I would think. What's everybody else think?
Mhm.
yes, definitely.
So where are we at on that? We'll just hurry up and wait kind of?
Yeah, they're gonna do a speed study thing.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to daycare subdivision. We have resolution number 117-25. Be it resolved that council approves subdivision application 4407-25-8731 to allow for the development of a childcare facility within the town of Carberry as presented, with the condition that the use be added to the open space zone. Moved by,
Mike,
seconded by.
Sam.
We all read the letter sent out by Devin Dietrich about what all has to be done to make that zone appropriate. So, are there any questions or comments or?
just one, or I can wait for, did they gauge the hydrant yet?
No. That's me, I haven't, they've had 1,000, I think, people that are having to take priority now, so.
Okay, I will call the question on that. All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. We have Rural Week. What's on Rural Week?
I think that's when the medical students.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's all being looked after by the Health Action Committee.
yeah, we read,
Well, no,
No,
Well.
Karen is looking after all of it.
Yeah.
And the Health Action Committee is
Well,
participating.
that's what I meant, sorry.
Yeah.
I
so
apologize.
we all read, EDO Kara's report. She touches on that in there, so that's.
Yeah.
4 medical students are coming to shadow
Mhm.
doctors and that here, so we like to kind of roll out the red carpet just in case those 4 students want to come back to the town of Carberry someday, so.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah. J, hire green team, we have resolution number 118-25, be it resolved that council hire Mason Carlson McDonald and Tiva Jensen Ginter as green team employees effective May 13th, 2025, moved by
Sam.
Sam, seconded by
Bill,
Bill, go ahead.
Bill.
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
Mhm.
Opposed, that is carried. And we are down to reports. We have you counselor report.
Once again, sorry for being late.
No problem.
So this week, there's the peer drone training on Thursday. The last one will be on June 5th. Students born in 2009 have been selected to write the PISA test, which is the program for international student assessment. That's on Thursday and Friday. So that's just comparing different schools around the world. The track and field has started. They had their second meeting today. And the process has been going on for about a half month, for about 3 weeks now. There's the grad barbecue outside the school. I think that's tomorrow, 4:30 to 7.
What's that all about? Just a fundraiser type thing or just for the
I think
kids?
so, yeah, just a fundraiser.
No, I think it's community.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, the poster's been up.
Good to know.
The dance on the 22nd of May. The kids in career development have been helping with cleanup around town. Been doing good work at that. Grade 5s and 6s are going to Spruce Woods for a fun run of the sun race on the 16th. The first provincial exam for grade 12s is for ELA on the 26th. And that lasts for 4 days.
Sorry, guys, I was working.
Then high school exams start on June 16th. And staffing for next year, we will complete just a few EA positions and one grade 8 teacher needed to complete staffing.
Perfect.
Good.
Thank you. Just, further to what you said, I think maybe you might have touched on that this past week, the philanthropy hit when around doing stuff.
Yeah, the
You
youth.
came over to my fourplex when I was working and you cleaned all the outside of the windows. Perfect. Big thank you to them. You can relay that to them if you want. Good.
Good.
Okay, thanks, Christopher. Economic development report. I think we've all read that. That came out in the package. Any questions or comments on that? Okay, committee reports. Protective services. I got nothing.
Breakfast on June 14th.
Breakfast on June 14th. Fire department. Fire hall. Be there.
Dude, I've got a jazz concert to perform for
What's that?
in Brandon.
You got a what?
A jazz concert.
Jazz.
You play jazz?
Yeah,
What do you?
for the school band, yeah.
What time do you guys go?
I think 10.
So you can just come for breakfast before you go?
Yeah. Bring your
Perfect.
trumpet or
Good thing
whatever.
to know you guys are all gonna be there, the whole bus.
Yeah.
Awesome,
Just
thanks.
come around.
Spread the word.
Drive through.
We did that one year. Worked over.
Yeah.
Okay, public works.
Oh, okay, Austin's working and, I actually saw him at work already. Are they doing renovations over there? The
Yeah.
bathroom and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. I was looking at some of the bills today, I was just,
I sent a picture of the one. It looks really nice what they've done
no, I haven't seen it.
Where's that?
over at the public workshop.
Other than that, it looks like they've been busy, there's been some town cleanup going on as well.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the town cleanup is next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday
Really?
for pickup.
I've had some good compliments on the back lanes being graded too, by the way. They did a good job from what I saw.
That it, Bill?
Yep.
Okay, buildings, anything on building? We're having a buildings and waste management meeting this Thursday, aren't we?
Yes, we-
So waste management, the only thing I can comment on that is they got rid of the old, little shack out there, so it's.
what's going on?
Yeah. And we had an incident right after the guardrails were put up about some woman driving over the guardrails, so never fails.
Right up.
Yeah, so I happened to be out there, it took Bill and we called a local tow truck and they went out to fix it up, but looks to me there'd be not too much damage done.
I do have one thing on buildings, the generator, inside the fence, there's still a piece of plywood laying on the ground on the west side of the generator. What is the purpose of it?
I don't know.
I believe there might be a hole in the ground underneath that.
Yeah.
And if this project's finished, I don't think it is.
Where are we at? Archives. I got nothing on archives.
No, I actually emailed the committee today just to ask when the next
Okay.
meeting was, because I hadn't heard, so.
Okay. Arts Council, anything on Arts Council?
We have a meeting next week, Tuesday.
Okay,
I haven't been to one of those yet, but
good enough. Cemetery, I'm happy to announce that the windmill is up and running quite well on Saturday.
Oh, I bet.
We could have generated electricity for the city of Brandon. But, yeah, if anybody out there, us or people take a drive out and have a look at the finished product. I talked to Dale Gabler today. And he's just got one other thing to put on there. I forget what he said it was. It's a small thing he didn't get put on, but it's not major. So it's up there and it's spinning and rotating, so it's doing what it's supposed to do. So
That's great.
thank you to Gabler Weldon for doing all that.
Okay, thank you.
Been a couple of people hired for there. Also, I think
Oh, yeah.
we all decided that we'd probably put Cairo back in there as well.
Museum, anything on museum?
Their meeting's always after this meeting, so. I'll have an update for the next meeting. Still the same info from the last one.
Okay. Andy Van Seniors?
The old handyman's not sold, but there might be some interest from another local municipality.
Today. Sorry, just while I think of it.
What, you got something, Brady, or?
No, I just,
Okay.
the person that was asking about it.
Oh, okay.
They were-
The municipality should have their own group that can list their surplus equipment to one another. Like in this case, it's another
We
municipality.
do. It's listed on AMM, it's been on there for months.
Really?
That-
And all of a sudden you go, some interest. Okay,
That's always the case.
Library, I think, did we all read the Westman Regional Library minutes and finances and then local? Is there anything on local library or? Or anyone?
They were involved in the Mother's Day tea. They partnered with the drop-in center
Yeah.
and I didn't get to it, but I think it was a success.
Health Action?
well, we have two new members. One is now the fundraising chair. And I have been in contact with Prairie Mountain Health about that wall in the clinic. So hopefully something.
I've got more for that later, but I think it's gonna be an in-camera.
Okay,
So you got that, Bill?
that is right, yes.
State planning, we have our planning meeting on Thursday morning, so I signed some checks today and everything. I talked to Bev and Joel for a couple of minutes and everything is going right along. He seems to be fitting right in. He really enjoys going home after sitting in an air-conditioned office all day instead of doing the carpentry thing in this kind of weather, so
Yeah,
I think he's here to stay for a while. That's good.
yeah, it's good.
Rec board, I don't think, anything on rec board? No. White Mud Watershed.
I attended their meeting. Anyway, there wasn't, they basically gave me a binder about the rules and regulations and what it was all about. And, it was a very short meeting, probably 15 minutes long.
Where was it held?
So, in McGregor. Yeah,
Yeah, it was a sub-district.
yeah,
Okay, good. Get your feet wet.
yeah. Do a bit of reading.
White Mud.
Yeah.
Daycare. You on daycare?
Yeah, they're moving quick. Again, they're making moves, some of it might be quick and whatever, so they're trying to do it right and make sure they're covered by grants and they're not having to whatever, so. I did tell them, like, they have our support, bring anything forward if they need a hand with anything or whatever, so. They're trying to get that and they're doing a really good job. With plans and picking out and even making sure, like, as you come into town, it looks nice, it fits in with everything and all that stuff. So they did bring up what was it there? Remember before we had the problem with the zoning or something, or the class 3, was it, or something like that? Remember with the tiny homes, and it was classified wrong or something?
All of the soil.
Soil, yeah, and then I mentioned to them that, did they talk to you about that, or?
Yeah, okay, Kristen's got it. Oh, she's working on it.
Sounds good, I just said I'd bring it up, and this, I told them whenever they bring something up, I'll bring it up here, so they know I've said it, so like, again, there we go, it's sorted out, so.
So further to that, the town and the RM are doing their part by doing the subdivision and zoning and all that, so it's moving forward.
Yeah.
It's good.
Drop in, I haven't been at a drop-in center meeting for a long time, so I don't have anything to report. I'm assuming the painting has or is getting done.
Yeah.
Is it Ian Lynch that did it? Yeah, okay, I seen him coming out of there the other day, so. So yeah, that's all I got.
It's a lot brighter.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a step in there and see.
That's good.
Splash Park.
I have nothing of great, events to report on from the last report. It's much the same. They are, planning the Kalina Run for May 24th and, involved in that. They have their, Hicktown, event coming up June 7th, and they're looking for volunteers. They put it on social media. If anybody can come and help them, they're in need of, in all areas. So if anybody can help at all, please contact one of the members or myself and I can pass it along. So, yeah,
June the what?
June 7th.
White House, it's our healthcare house beside mine. Do you want me to say anything or?
We've, brought on a casual cleaner, for that property. And, yeah, I think,
Two of the medical students that are coming out of the 4 are gonna be staying there, so. It's getting used.
That's good.
It's getting well used. Okay, no more reports on anything?
There was one bill I ran across today for a dryer plug-in and something else. Was that for that place?
no, good off.
Also seemed a little excessive.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They kind of run 220 from wherever it comes from, so it's, I remember where the panels in the next room, is it like?
Pardon?
The panels in the next room over.
Yeah, it is, yeah, it's on the back room or whatever, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I will read this resolution. Number 119-25, be it resolved that all reports be received by council as provided or presented. Moved by.
Like,
Seconded by. Sam. All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. We have communications. We have Westman Regional Library draft meeting minutes. We talked about that a couple minutes ago, so everybody, I'm assuming, has them. Moose Hide campaign. I got this and I forwarded it to Grady. And I never replied to it because it came to me because my tablet is doing some funny things.
So
Whatever gets sent to me goes to junk or spam, and I don't normally check the junk or the spam. But anyways, it's to do with, violence against, what it was, intimate partner violence.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. So they wanted our support for May 15th, which is what, tomorrow, day after tomorrow?
Thursday.
Is it too late to just say something or give some support? Like,
Yeah, we can put something out over social media and stuff, I guess, right?
yeah,
So,
can you do that tomorrow or have Tricia do that?
yeah,
Please, and thank you.
can we go on the board with the school? 2 grade?
sure.
Yeah, that can.
Mhm.
We have CRP report to council.
Those are just the two, report in the letter regarding the subdivision.
Yeah. Indeed. U of M Aggies bed push, we all read that. You know what that's about. We've had that before come through Carberry, haven't we?
Yeah.
We escorted them with the fire department.
Yeah,
last night.
and I told them, I mean, it's a good cause, so it's a no-brainer, so they're coming in a different direction, they're gonna come in on First Avenue, this way down Main Street and then just end at the south end there. At the bar, I'm assuming, probably. Just behind the-
Pushing it there, hard work.
Eggs and bars and behind the hands.
Room two. Okay,
So that's just kind of a parade thing going on? or-
Yeah, they just bring their caravan through town to push the bed. They'll be-
They've done it for years,
Yeah.
decades, probably.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
They just pick a different cause, and the last couple of years has been stars. So
Mhm. And that's this year.
Prairie Mountain Health and the sprinkler system, I think we read the letter that was sent out by Brian Will in 2026. They're going to plant down a little more on the sprinkler guidelines, so sounds like pretty straightforward. Westman Regional Library audit. We're all aware of that. I think there's any questions or comments, so. So I will read this resolution, number 120-25, be it resolved that all correspondence be received by council, moved by
So, well, this way.
Bill, seconded by Sam. All those in favor? Opposed? That is, actually, you know what? Before I'm done, I have some communication I would like to read out. It came to Mayor Ray Muirhead. Just opened it tonight, so if you'll allow me, I will read this out loud. This comes, okay, I'll read it. Dear Mayor Muirhead, the Long Service Recognition Awards Program of the Canadian Association of Municipal Administrators is dedicated to honoring and celebrating the dedication of our members to public service and municipal management, a cornerstone priority for our association. These awards are based on the duration of full-time paid employment in municipal government, specifically in management roles such as chief administrative officer or those reporting directly to them. Recognition is granted at the 10-year mark and subsequently in 5-year intervals. This year, it is our privilege to acknowledge the commitment of your chief administrative officer, Grady Stevenson, for his remarkable 10 years of service in municipal government management roles. Grady's dedication to his role has undoubtedly contributed to the advancement of your municipality, and we are pleased to recognize his achievements. His recognition pin has been mailed to him directly. We invite you to assist us in recognizing Grady for this milestone, perhaps through special presentation at City Council, in acknowledgement of his continued support of the municipal profession. In closing, we wish to express our heartfelt appreciation to City Council for their unwavering support of Grady as a valued member of the CAMA. Sincerely, Tony Kalbiski, CAMA President. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Is it 10 years?
Would you like to add that
10 years in management, or
Here, just put it in there.
year 6 as CAO. Year 6 going on 100.
Did you get your pen?
I did, yeah, the box is even pretty.
Oh,
I'll show you guys after.
Well, you should get a picture of Ray
Yeah.
holding the pin with you there
Yeah.
Yeah,
one
Yeah.
day, you know?
Yeah.
actually, right up.
Put it on the,
As a congratulations on.
if you want.
If you
I think it's.
If you want, yes. Yeah,
You know,
always.
I think that's what they wanted in the letter, really.
I know.
I think that's what they wanted in the letter, really.
Okay, so having read that,
You need to-
now we'll call a question for the correspondence. All those in favor? Opposed, that is carried. Now it's around the table time. Let's go, Mike, you
I'll
go,
go last. so.
you'll go last. Debbie, you got anything for around the table?
No, Nothing that
Okay.
hasn't been covered already.
Okay, Bill?
I see that Main Street has been patched up. Your dad actually mentioned it today, so when I came, I had a good look, and the only thing that they missed was along the sides, but I don't believe that's highways.
They don't do it, no, our guys don't.
So if we could get some, there's a couple of holes just along here,
Yeah.
but otherwise it's done. Back lanes are in great shape. And again, positive comments on that.
Yeah.
What else been going on? I think that's about all I have.
Sam, you anything?
So I kind of have two things, but I'm not really sure if I'm allowed to comment on them because they're at the rink. But they're kind of both summer things.
Good.
So like we've been going to pickleball twice a week. And for some reason, the women's bathroom is a sauna,
Okay,
like disgustingly hot. If someone could fix that, that would be
good.
great, because it's.
Brady's typing that as you speak.
Shouldn't sweat more going to washroom than playing pickleball. And then the other thing is, a few people have commented about it to me.
Mhm.
But for, why is the bowling alley closed so much of the year?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
Just-
We can find out.
Yeah, that's a conversation that we'll have to have with,
Yeah. Leave it with us and
Kelly. It's not, I hate saying this, that's just the way it's been. But I don't
Yeah.
know, like, whether it's just so quiet in the summertime that. Like.
I just know it's never been open in the summer, as long as I can remember. Which like, I guess people
Valid
are
question,
going
yeah.
inside in the summer, but like, we're so close to Spruce Woods, like if it's raining and you're camping, you don't wanna keep your kids in the camper all day, you can go bowling.
Mhm.
There was talk about like spring league and stuff like that, so there would be people who would wanna go have them, but.
The question will be asked.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Is that all you got?
Yeah.
I had a couple of things. The parking thing and the one you had brought up, Debbie, which leads me to ask, and the CAO, what are we gonna do for bylaw enforcement? There's a lot of stuff going on. I talked to Grady here the other day about this. There are quads driving up and down the streets. They're loud mufflers. They don't care. Our bylaw, our bylaw, off-road bylaw is, no quads on the streets, but the unwritten rule is if you're gonna go out of town, quickest way from where you are to out of town, go. I have witnessed, I don't know how many of them, just up and down the streets, residential streets, just driving around. Quads, side by sides. We've got barking dogs. We've got parking issues, as was brought up, a while ago. And we've got,
People driving through stop signs constantly.
yeah, parking the wrong way in the street, the whole thing. And right now, in the absence of, bylaw enforcement people, what do we do? Like, you don't wanna call RCMP for that stuff, but that's why I was asking Grady about this community safety officer program, like, we had the third meeting tonight. If we can kind of fast track that, so Grady said he was gonna get on that and see how fast we can get somebody in place, because some days out there is like the wild, wild west.
Well,
And
that's
the
the,
same with East End, every day, nothing changes, it's off-road vehicles, it's the jacked up trucks, it's the cars with the soup can mufflers, go get gas and then right to the pin as soon as they leave. It's just getting old, and then we're into that, out walking, kids playing on the street, kids walking time of year, and
well, we drove past the East End the other day right at lunchtime. And the kids were all out playing and there was some walking, but there's still people going through that 30 zone much
Yeah.
higher than 30. And it's scary sometimes to watch.
yeah,
Somebody's gonna get really hurt, not just there, but throughout town with, like you said, Bill, driving through stop signs at our corner there is no stopping hardly. Oh, and,
It's bad.
it is.
It is
It
terrible.
is.
so did you ever something build?
I do, where's our speed sign that we used to have? Can we get it fixed or?
Yeah, Scott's been working with them trying to get figured out what was in there for 3 months probably, and then I think it's a solar panel, and I'm not sure what the holdup is, but I'll follow up on that.
How much does a new one cost?
About $8,000.
Yeah, we used that grant for
Wow.
that. We had a grant for that speed sign.
Is it worth looking into? I know I brought this up before, and I know First Avenue is part of the highways. Is it worth looking into getting speed bumps set up? If that's what it comes down to, these people are the masters of their own demise. That's what they want. When you leave East End, if there's a speed bump, there and one down there, I mean.
They have them in small towns, Ray, and then they get removed in the winter
Yeah.
because they get snowplows take them up.
Yeah.
Or you can get like the larger humps made.
Well,
for
yeah, we have them up at Clear Lake, they're temporary,
Yeah.
you just put them down in the summers, that's something we should look at. I don't know, what else are you gonna do? In the absence of bylaw enforcement,
The ones you install, there's, but not as expensive as building.
That big one.
yeah,
Like what you see on Aberdeen.
yeah.
Yeah.
We used to have those, the ones that come off in the winter.
Those places, that's something we should look into, Grady, what do you think?
Again, yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, yeah, in the absence of bylaw enforcement right now, just, you know, to everybody in here and whoever's out there watching,
Mm.
call the police because we have no bylaw enforcement, and if you see people speeding or illegally parked or anything, I mean, I have seen the RCMP recently, well, today, but there's other stuff for that, but recently I have seen them take a swipe up Main Street, so even requesting to take, you know, for them to come and take a couple of swipes around town just to see what's what, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, and just a reminder on what we got told last year and the year before and the year before by the RCMP. If there is a car blowing through a stop sign or speeding through a speed zone or whatever, license plate, make a car, description of the driver. You need all three. So anybody in the internet world watching this, if you need a complaint made, it can't just be someone was speeding through town. You need the make and model of the car, the color of the car, the license plate, if you can, and the description of the driver. Or else the cops cannot do anything. So I just thought I'd reiterate that because they tell us that every time we talk to them.
And furthermore, like to what Debbie said with, unsightly properties and that sort of stuff. I've taken a drive around town like we do and sure other people have. I know it's that time of year when it's spring and cleanup and everything, but there are a lot of unsightly properties around town right now that could be cleaned up, that is just,
Just cutting the grass, that'd be nice.
that guy down on Market Street, he's got, I don't know how many vacant trailers, he said he was gonna do something.
I've got a message from him. He's dealing with it with the trailer owners and stuff. He's on it.
Okay,
There's contractors involved and things are happening.
yeah.
I know it's slow, but they are.
So we still have, albeit we don't have a bylaw enforcement, we still have, the bylaw itself, so you can still register complaints. We can take them, right? In the absence of a bylaw officer, once we do get something going, at least we'll have the complaint on file.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the best we can do for now, I guess.
Well, I mean, I have the ability, I can enforce the bylaws. I don't really care to, because I don't live here, but I can. Like, if there's an issue that's pressing, I can sign a ticket, and it's just as much weight as the bylaw enforcement person.
Well, we'll just leave it at that for now, I guess, but I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention, like, you know, most people would just park the right way, cut their dogs up. People on slow and clean. Yeah.
I ordered something the other day.
What else have I got? I had a phone call on the weekend from a concerned citizen from the Arm of North Cypress Langford regarding the, non-payment of cash at the waste disposal grounds. He thought that that was very backwards. I told him the whole reasoning behind it. At the end of our conversation, he fully understood. He was more than willing to pay, and I encouraged him to call his ward counselor. He seemed to think for some reason that the mayor has the right to stamp and not stamp, and I said, no, I'm just another voter on the table, so it's a joint town RM things. He was good about it in the end.
He did, I talked to him too after he talked with him. He's not
Good.
not really, no.
Oh, okay.
So that'll come up with the waste management.
Well, I said at the waste management meeting, and I said, I've given the reason behind why there's no cash out there. We just don't want cash on hand. We don't wanna deal with having to make change where you got 10 people sitting in line and just for safety reasons and the whole bit. But I said, you know, if you want, I can put it on the agenda, get it put on the agenda for the next joint meeting. We can discuss it again and we'll do it all. So I've heard it from a couple of people, but he's the one that called a couple of times, so that's where that's at.
Question, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off today,
That's okay.
and I don't mean to, I'm just gonna ask. So if people from the RM are coming in or town, whatever, like, periodically, let them in there every couple times a month or something. Like they used to do. I know, I understand what you mean by the car. Let's say someone doesn't have a car, they have a problem with it, whatever. Can they just take the weight and how much it costs in a spreadsheet out there and and then it just like a monthly bill, like we could send them all, or it can just be added to their tag if they don't pay it? I just,
Can, yeah.
I don't mean to make, I know everything here is like, I get where the next part's gonna go is, cause then you have to do that in the office or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just gonna ask, I'm trying to be
Yeah.
open to it, right? Like I'm trying to find a solution to every problem, right?
It's possible, but we're gonna spend $20 on a $3 invoice,
Yeah,
right? By the time you mail it or like email, a lot of people are using email now, but time you envelope the stamp and the time and everything to do.
I totally, but I meant more of like, more for like the people that are in there quite a bit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like more of
businesses
a,
have,
yeah, okay,
have accounts.
I know I've gone out there before and I see what you mean. You take the truck out, you got a truck full of stuff, and I've left my wallet with my license in my Jeep. Got no debit card. What do you do? So can you just, ring your head and that,
or I can come in the office and pay it,
I mean,
like
it's
instead
sort
of it being and if it's not paid, we just. add it
Yeah,
on.
like, we can do all of those things. It was just administratively, that's why we made the decision. If it doesn't work, if they're gonna change the whole thing for a couple of people, and we
No,
can do that, right?
I don't wanna do that, but I just
No,
thought I'd
I
ask a
know,
question.
like, that's why we did it,
Yeah.
because it's just simple.
Yeah,
They just punch it in, and then they don't have to worry about bringing cash back in and reconciling it. It's just.
or getting robbed out there if they're all on their own,
Yeah,
yeah, I totally, 100% understand, so.
But like I said, we talk about it here and then we'll talk about.
Right.
the joint meeting, so.
Cool.
I got a couple other things, but I'll bring that up in camera portion. That's all I got. You got anything, Christian?
Yeah, just one thing that I missed from my report, the band concert was on June 4th.
It'll be a full house. Our band concerts are usually well attended, right? You get your tickets and get them fast. I'm going. So, that's all you got?
Yeah, that's
What was the date on that, sorry?
June 4th. The Wednesday.
Day before the legislature.
Do you have anything, Grady? John, you got anything?
No, there's not. No.
Can you answer that?
I do.
Oh, yeah, right.
Did you
Forgot
go?
you- What?
Did you go?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
I forgot you wanted to go last.
yeah. One is like, it was, about 3 people, buses not yielding. So when the buses leave the school, it's an automatic train out there, like the buses don't have to stop for any of the cars. The cars have their right of way on Main Street, the buses don't. Like coming out of the school. So, yeah, so when one bus goes, it's okay for every other school bus to go. Right, so the buses don't have the right of way to leave the school just because one bus did. So I just wanted to say that, because that got brought up. And then again, I'm gonna say it out loud here, because I've been seeing it in the morning quite a bit, garbage collection before 7 AM. The residents are told to have the garbage out by 7 AM. The truck is driving around at 22 or a quarter to collecting garbage. They're not, that person's not getting the service they're paying for it, right? Especially with summertime, I bring my garbage, leave it out always overnight because the cats in it and all that stuff get into it. So when the garbage is 7 AM, the truck starts collecting garbage at 7 AM. I don't know how many times they're gonna bring this up. So, cause I always leave my house right at, or before 7 AM, he's done half of Second Avenue already, so. So anyways, I just thought I'd bring that up again. I know you're on it, Grady, every time I bring it up, so. And then, another one, I know it's far away, but in September, I got a friend doing this. Stepping in support for 1977 as a firefighter who took his own life in Winnipeg, but he's walking across the province. And he's gonna be making stops at all the fire halls and towns across the highway, so he's doing it, just letting you know he's coming through Carberry and hopefully we can support. So.
The name of this.
That's what it's called Steppin' in Support for 1977. That was a Bell's badge number. In Preston. And the guy doing it is Andrew Chirkus. And he's doing that walk. So. Yeah, That's it. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's no problem. Okay, is that it for everybody then? Okay, I will read this in camera one. We have resolution number 121-25, be it resolved, the council moved in camera under section 1523B3 of the municipal act to discuss preliminary matters. Moved by,
Mike.
seconded by. All those in favor? Opposed, carried.